'Cause if you like the way, you like the way.
Smoke.
Help, I guess.
Right then, we are around 30 seconds away to the beginning of this match. Just to recap, Fnatic are going to be starting the first map on the CT side. Do wonder if they're going to opt for double ops or if they'll even have the economy to do so sometime during the map. And Liquid again will be starting on the T side. So it's Hiko's second test. He's come a long way. You saw his VT there, tried to build a super team. It all fell apart and now he's back with a very strong team indeed. Is this the team to take him to the final? Or will Fnatic shut them down as they did Gambit? We are soon to find out.
Yeah, this is a very scary team, and they've had some great results already on Cobblestone, which is why they're going to it here. And we're about to see them set the pace because they're going to be kicking things off on the T side when we get into this pistol round. So Liquids, they're going to have a lot to answer for against the defense of Fnatic, which is very legendary. And let's see how they decide to go for the buy right now. Looks like we have some grenades here on Hiko. And we've got Kevlars all around on the rest of the players. So likely a fast round here from Team Liquids as Fnatic themselves are Kevlaring up as well. Just a kit on one player and the rest are Kevlars. So I expect a lot of crazy action here towards the B-bomb site.
Yeah, Crims has a HE and he's headed over towards the B-bomb site. So if there was a fast rush towards platform, he would cause some trouble. But you see players going instantly into drop and they could go for an A split here. Dennis, it's going to be outnumbered by these players, but they're in a choke point at the moment. Dennis can't get any frags, so Flash is going to get the first one and come in from the back of JW. So this is looking good for the CT so far. Dennis with a headshot. Another one, and it's 5 versus 2 here. Not working out for Liquid at the moment.
But Simple's still alive, and he will respond with a quick headshot onto Flusher, so the hope is not dead just yet. But there is certainly a lot of work to do. They do have time. That is something that is in their favor, although not much else is. And now Hiko will fall Simple without any comrades to assist him as he's pinned down by the wooden fence, and surely there's absolutely nothing to be done here, but he'll find a stray bullet there to the head of Olofmeister. Still though, 3 players left to find. Oh, Simple finds himself another one. Suddenly this becomes doable, but shut down by Crims as he puts an end to the shenanigans, and Fnatic will claim the pistol round.
Strong start from Fnatic after a nice pistol strat from Liquid, but it just couldn't get through that choke point with the important frag, so they will go 1-0 down. And again, Cobblestone, we always mention, is often a map where if you lose the pistol, the first pistol on the CT side, you often have a terrible CT side, so that is a crucial start for Fnatic, an opportunity missed for Team Liquid. They're not going to go for a force buy here, despite not getting the bomb down in that particular round. So interesting times ahead. We'll have to see what Team Liquid go for. Maybe a bit of a surprise buy in the next round. They did next to nothing in this particular round. JW up close with the mag, looking for the meat shots there. That's 2 players over to the Butchers. On the fire, so double mag 7 coming in. More players in that drop zone. Down goes Olofmeister. JW, that's a 5 HP. He needs help from his teammates. Dennis coming in for support, and Simple's alone versus 4. It's got a Deagle, but no more opportunities. Crims will take him down.
That is a pretty strong deflection there from Fnatic. Obviously, those Mag 7s really paying off, and not just in securing the round, but also making them that bonus money from all the frags. And normally Team Liquid, of course, we saw a lot of Deagles there. They've got a lot of players that can just pop heads from distance with those. And players like Simple, I really feel like Simple is one of, and sometimes the best Deagle player in the world, just because his raw aim is just unmatched at points. Either way, it's going to be that 2-0. Liquid going with a, again, a similar buy, just investing in a few pistols to get the economic damage onto Fnatic. So let's see if they can find a better engagement than just rushing down, drop into double mag 7.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They've gone for basically 2 hard ecos here, apart from Simple, who's gone for full armor and the Deagle in this particular round. But that's a 3-man spray down, make it 4. Dennis taking down Hiko, so that money's gone completely down the drain. The money's fairly good for the next buy from Team Liquid, but Simple's down to 1600 So disadvantaging himself for the coming runs when the rest of his team's going to be on a bye. Not a single frag for Team Liquid in that round. We'll have to see what kind of utility they're bringing into the next round here. And again, Simple is not starting with a lot. He's not going to have much in the name of grenades, but he is one player who you'll just want with his crosshair up. And
it's really cool that Simple, you know, he can be an amazing dedicated AWPer, but you actually get way more value out of him having the most equipment he can have in the most rounds possible, because he always can find frags out of nothing. And that's why I really like how he works with this lineup, having JDM as a dedicated AWPer. And I think he's very comfortable with that role as well. Obviously, in past teams, there's been a bit of turmoil because he wanted to be the dedicated AWPer, but in this team, I'm sure it makes sense for him. And we're going to see some pressure towards the plateau quickly, and Simple is going for that very aggressive play straight towards the end, looking for that opening entry against the defense here of the Swedish side. Simple goes straight down the stairs and will be dispatched by Olofmeister now as Liquid are down a man.
JDM has an angle he can go for to kind of pre-aim the other side of this drop area, but it's nice to see Fnatic using the tree position. It's kind of fallen out of favor on CT holes recently. We haven't seen that many people over towards the tree, and again, gives you height advantage. You can see over the smokes, you can see the backs of people's heads without seeing anything. It moves just before taking the shot there. What a cheeky Molotov as well. That is very brazen and typical of Fnatic.
So now, I mean, actually a lot of time has passed, and Liquid, they haven't been able to find a response to the frag that went the way of Fnatic, and we can see them starting to make their efforts, and perhaps they will commit towards this A-bomb site, as Alige is going to find that danger's clear, A long is clear, and the bomb is starting to rotate there as well. And Fnatic, with the man advantage that they have, are playing very passively, and this is a huge round because they haven't really invested in rebuying some of those weapons. We still see a Mag-7, a UMP, and a FAMAS, so the weapon advantage is with the aggressors in Team Liquid at the moment, but time is slowly running out, and they are being continually delayed by the grenades of Dennis here. Liquid need to push in now, and that's what they're going to do.
The push comes in from lower and higher. There's only two people on the side here for Fnatic, and that's one taken down now. Dennis only has a FAMAS. He's a very strong fragger. Can he get the kills? No. Higo takes him down. The choke points are in control of the T's here. Nitro is going to spray down JW as well. 4 versus 2 in the most 2 again. Fnatic on the wrong end of these choke points, but money's in their favor. They've won a lot of rounds without losing many players already, so they can choose to go for this, but they're going to save. Olofmeister moving well out of the way, and Crims will retreat as well.
So the good old save there, and that's how this round should always have went. If Fnatic got off to a start where they're able to actually not really invest anything and kind of play greedy in that economic fashion, starting off with the worst buy and so on, then they are really going to start to run away with things. So it's very cool to see for us, who, as fans, we want a close series, because Liquid, they answer straight back. They're going to force Fnatic to save a couple weapons, and they'll have plenty in the bank to buy up fully in the following round. And Liquid have done enough here, and they themselves will survive with 4 players, so that's going to be good for them too, moving into the future rounds when Fnatic invariably get some of those frags onto the Liquid players. But the interesting thing now is going to be the selection of a strategy from Liquid, because Liquid are going to realize that Fnatic still have a very strong buy, and they likely want to avoid wherever the AWP is going to be. But it's hard to predict with Fnatic because any one player can pick it up for a fast timing.
To see the support is still strong in the arena here for Fnatic. The Europeans are here in force, and they're supporting the Swedes on this occasion. At least the loudest people are. Dennis and JDM both on the AWPs in this round. Flusher over towards long. He's going to allow Dennis to be towards the connector door. He can quickly rotate towards B should it be required, and hold down the lower area for Flusher, who's also moved towards Danger. CJW holding close with the Mag-7 at the moment. Olofmeister and Crims over towards A. And again, Crims is going to be a key player. He's between Olofmeister and JW, so he can offer support to either player on the CT side. Again, just initial passive angles being held by Liquid, waiting for those initial nades to come in from Fnatic. Then they will choose their decisions where they want to push.
So here it comes. We have Liquid slowly making a few edges here in towards that drop zone, as well as pushing A long. So starting to get a really good feel for the map, and yet to meet any resistance from the Swedish side. Flusher there's keeping tabs on this situation. I think he realizes that there's at least 1 or 2 players there, but he won't know that the entire team is actually rotating all the way around. So Liquid, a very slow approach in their default, making some presence all across the map, obscuring the information a little bit, so Fnatic don't quite know, forcing Fnatic into more defensive positions. And we can see Dennis there as by the APC, so he won't have a chance to get too many shots off because he's already in a very far back position. Liquid has set this up well, but the execution has to go smoothly as they push into this site.
25 seconds, not a single frag for either player. The CT's rotating rotating already. Trades coming in there. Dennis with a nice angle of the AWP now. Down goes JDM. That's an important frag. And Team Liquid have to cross that path into the A bomb site there. Dennis going down as well. Another trade. An advantage now for the CTs. Soon disappears. Where are the CTs now? Olafmeister coming in from the back. Crims is up close, holding an angle while his teammate comes in. Elige is looking for an opening for his teammate. He's got a nice position, but there's not much of a crossfire, not much of a trade situation here for these two Ts. Not for the two CTs either. Hiko, another headshot. 2 versus 1 now. Crims has to try and avoid being traded here. Has to position himself. He doesn't know where Elige is though. It's a bit of a gamble for him. He's got some time. He's got a kit, but he needs to find somebody soon. Hiko comes out now. Shoulder peek. Doesn't need to peek again. Elige will come in and take Crims down. Again, position unknown. Very nice play by the two Liquid players.
The 1-2 combo there for the second round on the board for Liquid, as they will be in a position where the economy for Fnatic is starting to really be strained, but they can actually still get a buyout because of the way they started the game. They played it so well, you know, economically. They got that round where they were able to deflect a push with the Mag 7s, racking up all that bonus money, carrying those Mag 7s into the future rounds, and also saving a couple rifles. It gives them these extra rounds, these extra tries, and that's very unusual considering how few rounds Fnatic actually won at the start of this match.
Look at Nitro. He's holding a Mac 10, and this is bear in mind. Hiko has $6,500 here. Nitro's in a Mac 10. Why? Because he knows worst case scenario, Fnatic have a force buy here. They can't afford to have helmets. Only 3 players have helmets. Sorry, 2 players have helmets on Fnatic, which means Nitro can just pop these people in the face if it gets close enough. Maybe JDM won't let him. Flusher gets taken down by the AWP.
So problems here for Fnatic as we start to see the rotation as a response to losing a man, and Liquid all over the bomb site now as we have Dennis looking for the kill on the flank. He's going to pick it up against Simple, but traded quickly back by Elige, or Hiko rather, as it's looking very difficult. This bomb site is somewhat impenetrable. JW cannot find a way in, and JDM will be locking it down with an AWP of his own as JW scrambles to try to save this big green gun of his. Very expensive weapon, and now Fnatic's economy truly has been broken, so really nice approach there from Liquid. You can see that they've mixed up the paces there, so Fnatic can't, it's hard for Fnatic to make information plays if they can't read how fast or slow Liquid are playing, because if they're playing very fast and you try to make an information play too early, then you have a very risky aggression on your hands, and that's going to be in favor of Liquid. So that's why it's so important that, you know, Hiko is going to be, and also Peacemaker who's coaching them, grasps this concept that it's very important to always vary up that pace, and so far it's been definitely paying off, I should say, and looks like JW might be able to save this AWP after all.
If you look at the interview that Flusher had after playing Gamba, he said he didn't really need to call strats, they just did whatever they wanted. And that's one of the most dangerous things about Fnatic, is that they can do that. And at the moment you could argue that Liquid are playing against that by purely having the numbers game over towards a site that's almost always going to have less numbers, the A site. They're coming in late, they're coming in for the trades, and it's working so far. Now the question is, how are Fnatic going to use this AWP? They're likely going to use it aggressively. JW can go towards the mid area, towards the double doors, put a smoke down, look over the smoke towards the boulder position, can go A long as well, but he can also be boosted into the drop zone, or just hold an angle standing on somebody if he has a good spawn, and it seems he might be headed in that direction. So let's see if they're going to boost him in mid, or is he going to go over towards the B bomb site. It seems it is the latter.
So we have the majority of Fnatic also towards this position where Liquid are going to also be. Will JW be able to capitalize? Now, surely they should expect him to be somewhere. But as you highlighted, there are quite a lot of options, so it's quite hard to predict which one it's going to be. And they're deciding to play it somewhat slowly in the hopes that perhaps Fnatic will give away exactly where JW is positioned currently, but that's not to be the case just yet. Fnatic realize that the element of surprise is absolutely everything in a situation like this, and are trying to prolong that element of surprise for as long as they can, but JW is already going to pick up the first strike, but that's going to encourage players to JW's position. He misses the shot. He's been found right now. Liquid know they don't have to push into JW, and they have plenty of time to do whatever the hell they want right now.
That's it. Simple is going a bit crazy out. He just unleashed the beast. He's trying to charge onto the sites here, running into angles, and that's a bit crazy. And this is not working out for Liquid. They are going into the meat grinder now. The bomb's down. They need to collect it. They have no choice but to keep pushing in this direction. Almost 45 seconds on the clock. There are options for them, but the problems, if they move away from the site, then their weapons can be picked up as well. All 4 players here for Fnatic on the site now. JDM needs to put in yet more work. They're just holding angles for the time being. The AWP is down, but Crims has an AK at the moment. Down goes Nitro. Now it's going to be hard for JDM not to get traded there. The numbers are too great. Down goes one. Instant trade coming in for Fnatic, and they will take a very unlikely round. And that's really worrying, Dan, because if you go back to when JDM got that pick on Olofmeister towards B, Simple just comes charging through the smoke. He should have been taken down by JW. I mean, he needs to work with his team. They need to be flashing for him to do that kind of stuff. Otherwise, this might happen.
Well, it's completely crazy because they know exactly where the AWP is at that point. So there's loads of ways that they can play that round. And they actually decide to play the most kind of balls out way, where they're just gonna, well, just charge. And as you say, Simple kind of commits his teammates by making a move like that because they can't give him up for free. So, awkward situation. Both teams, though, still with a strong buy to build into this round. So, it's very back and forth at the moment, which is what we like to see. And where is the difference going to be made? That is the question. We do have the very standard smokes put down here on the on the plateau area. You can see Olofmeister, who is near the broken wall, and that's just to control the flow of the T's, not to allow them to make plays as we saw Simple do previously, where they just take all the real estate very quickly. That said, though, we do have a man creeping up there, and I do believe it is actually Nitro on this occasion. So forward positioning on the plateau here for Team Liquid, very passive towards the A side of the map, waiting for perhaps Fnatic to make a push. So it's very likely actually that the Liquid, if they don't see anything towards the A side of the map, if there's no other cause for worry towards B, they're just going to go for a B hit here. But Fnatic will have no idea.
The harassment begins from both sides towards B bomb site. Look at these grenades streaming into the site now. But there's no commitment from Team Liquid. They're still in somewhat passive situations in terms of the push. The bomb's moving away from the B bomb site, but Fnatic don't seem to be believers. Flush is starting to rotate from A to B. Simple and Nitro are committing to the harassment here. There's a wall of smokes. That's exactly what's going on. Hiko taking down JW. He may switch the bomb, but the bomb's still headed towards A, and Dennis is going to take it down. The bomb's falling down. JDM picked it up and he's got to trade. This is really important. Flusher can rotate back, but he doesn't seem to believe it. JDM is rotating over towards the B bomb site now. This is absolute madness, 2 versus 2, and JDM has to run for his life to get that bomb down. 25 seconds left.
Yeah, knife out all the way on the sprint as JDM tries to get his position towards that bomb site, and Simple is holding a very nice off angle here. It's actually pretty commonly used, but it's always going to be hard to deal with, especially if you don't have grenades. But there are a lot of grenades, and Simple's going for the play forwards here towards the door. Let's see if he's going to be able to get these kills here, and it looks like the cross has been made there by JDM. He will secure the bomb plant just with a couple seconds to spare, and Simple will not be discovered in time by Flusher. He will fall, and now it's just going to be on the shoulders of Olofmeister, the Swedish superstar from Fnatic. He's in a very perilous situation as he tries to make his way forwards. Can't quite get it done. It's Simple with the double in the 2 versus 2 to secure the round for Liquid as they break the economy of Fnatic.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of cash onto Flusher and Dennis, so it's going to be interesting to see what they wanted to do there. But that round was almost a complete disaster for Liquid. Once Hiko, I mean, Simple and Nitro are basically on the B bomb site. Hiko gets a kill from the drop zone onto the connected player, but the bomb is still headed towards A. I think you have to call the rotation towards B there. Dennis going aggressive, going for the flank. Almost gets a 2-man sprayed on there, but JDM manages to trade, rotates back to B. That could have been a catastrophe, but here we go. It's that extra money is going to be spent on those 2 players. We have Double Deagle and Kevlar with another Deagle in tow onto Olofmeister, and Liquid can't make the same mistakes they made last time. They need to be meticulous on the ecos and the force buys of Fnatic, otherwise they will lose rounds. And we've seen that kind of crazy play before. I mean, obviously that's Simple style, and you have to allow it. It's going to work sometimes and not work in others, but it can cause problems for the team as well. So far so good though. Elige back down to the Map1, taking down the Flusher, but there's many more players to find.
Yeah, he's got the clipboard out for the information for his team, and there is some information. And the trade might be real here, though. Dennis does do a little bit of extra damage, but is there really an opportunity? It would seem not for Fnatic to get anything else done at this point, as the bomb site's been taken over. There will be 2 players rushing in and just wanting to get it over with. 5-4 now the score as Liquid take the lead. This is a good start for them on Cobblestone, especially considering that they had a very painful situation at the start where Fnatic were able to win that pistol round. And you can see that it's not really taken Liquid out of their focus. They're not phased at all by this. And right now it's Fnatic on the back foot. And not only that, they're going to have a buy here, which is going to be somewhat inferior. Sure, they've got a bunch of grenades. They're lacking helmets though, which won't actually matter in this situation. But there's actually no kits. There's no defuse kit on any one of these Fnatic players, and that could be a problem later in the round.
I think Fnatic have no intention of a bomb going down in this situation. We'll see JW close with the Mag 7, maybe around the drop again, maybe over to the crack in the wall a bit later, but we've seen Olof and Crims have been there for the most part. Dennis with the AWP over towards long now. Nitro's coming in very fast, looking to break the economy immediately here. He's charging around the site, and there's still Simple to come, but Elige is going to be the one to take the place now that Nitro's gone down.
Yeah, they're coming in waves, and each wave is stronger than the last now as Liquid fully occupy the B-bomb side, putting the bomb down as JW looks for the perfect timing with the grenades of his teammates to get himself a push with that Mag 7. It's going to be all down to the timing there. Will JW find it? What? That was incredibly a long range there from that Mag 7. However, it will be simple to trade frags back, and it's going to be an easy take, it would seem, after all is said and done. After the dust settles, Liquid will be alive with 3 players, and Dennis is looking to save the AWP now for Fnatic.
And that's one of the most dangerous things about this Liquid side, this roster. Nitro charges into the site, takes a play down. It's like, okay, we've taken care of Nitro, he's dead. Well, here comes Elige, and then comes Simple. It's just problem after problem on the T side here for Fnatic. And Liquid have 6 of 10 rounds on Fnatic CT side. You have to be sweating a bit if you are a Fnatic player right now.
Yes, stuff is starting to get out of hand, and I really think that this is definitely a battle of confidence between Liquid and Fnatic, because again, there's so much individual skills, so many emotional players in that sense that the better things are going for them, the more powered up they're going to get. And you know, right now Fnatic are on the receiving end of what is essentially demoralizing situations where essentially Liquid is saying, look, we can take you down in these 1 versus 1s, we can outskill you, and that's Fnatic's bread and butter. So of course they have a lot of experience, they're a championship level team, they will have the composure to deal with this situation, but it's very interesting how that dynamic's going to play forwards for Liquid.
Dennis looks like he's about to get some action. I think it's Nitro and Elige which are headed in his direction here. They'll be looking to play the trade game. They'll notice run past the angle here. Very nicely done indeed, and they won't get taken down. Dennis has to run away, and now Liquid have identified where the saved AWP is. Does this mean they move quickly into B? A fast play may not be the right idea, considering all the CZs and P250s and such are still to be identified. They know where 1 player is, but where are the other 4? That is a big question here. Are they being baited to rotate towards B, or is everybody stacking on the A side? This is what Liquid need to find out with this minute 10 on the clock.
And slowly we get the creep there from Liquid towards the middle area, towards A, and there's only 1 player there to receive them. It's Flusher with a P250 and nothing else. So he might actually, Flusher might actually be able to somehow engineer a 1 versus 1, which would be quite nice. If you can isolate players in this situation from the Fnatic perspective and pick up an AK-47 to maybe try to save or try to force them to kill you, or get extra damage out of that, that's a great situation for you. And you can see actually right now on the rotation, Fnatic have sent extra players towards A, so they obviously are trying to kind of guess as to where they think Liquid are going, but right now they would be wrong, because Liquid's main hit is coming into the B-bomb side, but Crims is going to be there, ready to receive the push. He's got a Deagle, he's got a headshot. What else can he get? Is JDM looking for the repeat there, and Crims will get punished as there are now just 3 men standing, but 1 is coming in quickly on the flank.
Flusher's coming in from the back, and Nitro is hot on his heels. Hiko holding down a drop position. JW is going to wait for the smoke to disappear, but surely Hiko's at an advantage here. He smells the rat and takes it down. JDM not going to take his play down. That's really good. Dennis now is the last man standing with the AWP. Will get a kill onto Hiko, but the hunt will be on. Nitro already coming in for a flank there. Dennis will do his best to hide, but it's another round in the bag for Liquid. They've got momentum on their side. This will be their 4th round in a row, and it will be their 7th round in 8.
So things are going quite well indeed for the Liquid camp. I mean, we're hearing a lot of awesome chanting there from the crowd. It's an amazing crowd here at the Lanxess Arena. All the support for Liquid, and maybe it's paying off. Fnatic, though, they are definitely going to be needing some support of their own, as Dennis is going to be trying to save this AWP. He will actually, it looks like he's going to manage to do it. Oh no, sorry, he's going to go down rather.
Denied.
As Simple is able to get that frag. So right now, Liquid are really beating Fnatic to the punch, and we're going to see another buy coming in from Fnatic. But this is one of the demoralizing things about playing Cobblestone, is that on the CT side, if you're losing loads of rounds, and it's very hard to find a way that you can impose your will onto the round, because it's very hard to push the map for information. It's very risky to do that, so it always feels like you're just receiving whatever the other team brings to you, and Liquid obviously get to dictate the pace, and whatever's working for them, they can just keep doing that. And Fnatic right now haven't found an answer.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis is getting more aggressive towards the mid area, and almost the entire team is here for Liquid. Over towards A, Flusher's won his own, gonna get a nice nade in there, but not too much damage done. Hiko's gonna take a chunk, but there could have been much worse. So Dennis and Flusher both isolated. Those smokes will hold down their positions for the time being, but once those disappear, they'll be forced to retreat. I don't know if there was lots of spray there from Liquid, but Dennis has come in to join Flusher, so it seems they realise they might be in a bit of trouble. They are very far away from the other 3 players on the CT side. Flusher holding a bit of an angle. Dennis deep into danger now, and the entire Liquid team is coming for them. They're being hunted like dogs, Dan.
Dennis is going to start to get challenged there, and it's going to be a very swift challenge as Elise easily takes him down, sends him flying down those stairs. Now as Flusher waits patiently with no support to work with, Flusher has it all to do, but the bomb is there, so if he can get that kill, maybe he can buy some extra time for the rotation. He will get one frag, and he will go for a quick repositioning here. Flusher needs to just show star level performance, but Elise will not give him the opportunity. It's now Olofmeister who's in there, but just as quickly as he came, he has been eliminated, and it looks like Team Liquid have once again shut Fnatic out as they desperately try to get back in. They just keep getting denied. Just JW now in a 1 versus 2.
He could do this. It's a 1 versus 2, as you said. He just needs to find a trade fragger first. He's looking for him. He knows one player's on the site. He didn't have time to get out of there unless he's behind the wood. But there's movement from JDM, and he's going to take JW down. Not sure if JW heard the drop there, but he's going to go down nonetheless. Problems and more problems here for Fnatic. Are we going to see an 11-4 half here?
It's really, really possible, but whatever Liquid do to Fnatic, Fnatic are very capable of doing it back to them, assuming that they're able to, get that pistol round victory. That said, Fnatic did actually win the pistol round, by the way, and that's something that's very interesting to note, because obviously right now we have 5 rounds won in a row from Liquid. They're on a complete tear at the moment, and this is definitely bad news here for the Swedes, and they're going to go for a bit of a half buy here, just buying up a few pistols and a couple Kevlars, just because they have a lot of money on the loss bonus. They can afford to do this and still get a big buy in the following round. So let's see if they can get something out of this. You never know in CSGO. Simple might be the first man to find a player here from the side of Fnatic, but he will be smoked away, and so no engagement just yet. Might see a slower round as Liquid start to run an anti-eco type strategy.
Good to see more discipline from the T side as well after that ruptured anti-eco, that first anti-eco. Olofmeister is playing pretty close to the smoke on B plateau, so I'm wondering if we're going to see a push here, although Simple is holding an off angle. Speaking of angles, Flusher and Dennis over towards the A site, pretty far away from the engagement points at the moment, and with mere P250s and the like, that is not really what they want. Flusher on a deagle, actually, so that won't be too bad. Dennis on the CZ, going towards the lower area, but Liquid's, they've gone over towards B on their anti-ecos, and now they're going to start harassing A, but with a good timing, Simple will cause some problems over towards the B area. I'm not sure if JW will hit the rotation though.
So there's the first frag, nice Molotov there, and this is exactly how you want to do it. We're seeing a very nicely run anti-eco coming out, but Crims is going to win himself an AK-47 and a frag to boot, as we have more players here from Liquid just stuck as the rotation comes in. They might be able to even win this round, despite the fact that they can't really reclaim these weapons. Crims is still in position, and there are still more players to try to power through as we get Hiko going for the entry. The bomb now has been reclaimed by Simple. 15 seconds left on the clock to plant the bomb, and there are 2 players on the site. This could get very messy indeed right now, as we get JDM able to make the frag onto JW, just enough time to get the plant in now, and it's all on Olofmeister. He's found an AK, but Hiko will find him first. 9-4 as Liquid claim yet another round, but it was an expected one.
That was a desperate kill at the end there. I don't think they had time. We didn't see what was happening with the bomb, but Flusher was at the back of the site as well. He was ready to cause problems. He's the problem maker, and problems he made, but he finally got taken down. Olofmeister was crucial, but Hiko with a 6th sense got a very crucial frag indeed. 9-4. Fnatic coming back into the buy now. We saw Dennis get a bit more aggressive towards mid, but not too much in the previous rounds. Now he's on the second AWP, so we might see him play around the door itself if a smoke goes down.
Yeah, so a stark change in how they can go for the defense here. Liquid have been mixing it up a lot, actually. Their defaults have been pretty awesome, to be honest. They're not really showing Fnatic too much of a pattern right now because of the nature of their defaults. They have presence everywhere. Sometimes they go A, sometimes they go B, sometimes the round is fast, sometimes it's slow. It's very hard to understand what to do against that. Fnatic just trying to get it done with their skill, and right now it looks like Liquid just want a straight up push into the B bomb, so we'll have to see if that's how this is going to end up, but there are only 3 players right now there for Fnatic to respond with. So if Liquid are able to explode when onto the B bomb site when those smokes, the defensive smokes of Fnatic dissipate, there could be problems. There might not be enough bodies behind this defense for the Swedish side.
Fnatic just waiting up. So many counter nades and nades coming in from both sides. Oh, Nitro, the end of the magazine, going to get clipped there. And Hiko is going to get clipped as well. Massive damage coming in, but JW is going to get traded. Trades on both sides. Suddenly it's a 3 versus 3. Flusher's miles away. Grims has to put in work here. 2 kills for him. JDM on the site now. Needs to plant while Elige holds the angle. But again, Flusher's coming in from the back. Elige is looking for a flanker as well. JDM holding the angle. They've got 40 seconds to do this. Wait for one of these CTs to overextend. Goes for the plant now. And then we'll see Dennis and Flusher starts to creep. Will Liquid pick the correct angles? Elige trying to support his teammate, but Elige has to look towards drop and towards plateau at the same time. Then this goes down. Elige sees the trajectory of the flashbang. They know where he is now.
Here he comes. Well, that's what he wants to do anyway, but these nades are all over the place. Splash is going to find it very difficult to make an entry. He's going to force his way through a smoke, straight into the loving embrace of Elige's AK-47, and that is another round going in favor of Team Liquid. When will it cease? We haven't seen a single response really from Fnatic. They are getting absolutely dominated by Team Liquid. Usually it works the other way around.
Elige looks too young for a loving embrace, Dan, but he is regarded as one of the best players in North America, and he's showing it now. Always strong for them in these clutch situations. Last round of the first half, and Fnatic don't have much to fight with. A distinct lack of utility. They'll be unable to slow Liquid down. Liquid who've been playing slow anyway, but they can much easier exhaust the grenades of Fnatic should they choose to. But they're moving quickly towards B-bomb site. Is this going to be a fast play from them? olofmeister getting in position around that smoke with a Mag 7. He could do a lot of damage here, and he can avoid the flashbang as well, coming in from the back, taking down Nitro. There's Elige as well. How many more can he get? Is he going to send these players to the butchers with the meat shots there? Looking for Manium. Spot Simple, he's finally going to get taken down. But it's a 4 versus 2.
Yeah, this is finally looking good for Fnatic if they found a way to eke out around to the Mag 7. And a very angry olofmeister and a flank from JW finds Nico there as he remains hidden, and Dennis will clean up Simple. 5-10, the only response for Fnatic after their initial flurry of rounds will be right at the end of the first half. Liquid have set themselves up wonderfully going into the second half of the first map of this best of 3 series here for the major.
That is a colossal half for Team Liquid. 10 rounds on their T side. It's a slightly favoured side on this map, but 10 rounds against a team the calibre of Fnatic is absolutely monstrous. That's very strong indeed. Fnatic, it is a best of 3. Do you think they'll be shaken at the score so far?
I don't think they will. I think Fnatic are too experienced for that. I think they've been through too many tournaments and they have that championship quality. But will that championship quality come out to play in this series, or will Liquid run them over? We'll find out after the break.
(10-5) is the score. Liquid leading the charge here, but it's their turn to defend now versus Fnatic, who have only 5 rounds on the board on their CT side. Can they bring it back on the T side there?
That is the question. This is the kind of a T side where you truly get to impose your will on your opponent, and there's not too much they can really do to stop it. And we saw that Liquid had their turn to do that, and they were actually very successful. Usually that's something that Fnatic can really use to their advantage to get in the heads of their opponents. You'll see JW going mental, just hitting that drop zone really hard, or olofmeister charging up the B plateau. God able to just tap down, falls left and right, but can they bring it back after such a demoralizing first half? That is truly what we're here to find out.
Well, let's see what Fnatic have planned for this mostly North American side. We've got Crims on a P250, Smoke and a Flash, and 4 Glocks and Kevlar for the Fnatic side. Only 3 players of Kevlar here for Liquid, and 2 smokes for the CTs. Nitro still buying a CZ, no diffuse kit actually, so curious to see what they have planned with these 2 smoke grenades. Slow start here for Fnatic. Olofmeister holding a very passive angle towards A. And Liquid seem to think maybe it's going to be a fast B play, putting 4 players in that direction. How long will they hold over there with no information?
Yeah, I like this slow pace here from Fnatic. They're trying to bait out a response, but now it's time to go, and Nitro is locking down the window. No way into connector. Crims is just taking another glance there, because he needs to create a distraction right now. He needs to just create so much of a noise that they don't notice the bomb quickly approaching towards that A bomb site. That's where the real play is, and so far it's working. There are still 4 Liquid players towards B. Now they know, but it's too late. Dennis with a fast frag on the Simple. Sure, he could get the return, but the bomb will be planted. Dennis posting a defense by the APC now as that bomb ticks away. 3 versus 3 as Dennis pops more heads. Is this guy done just yet? I don't even know. He's got Olofmeister for support as well. This is a very tough re-entry for Liquid. What? Dennis is getting in there again. And there might be one more, of course. Dennis with the ace to kick off the second half. Fnatic needed that, and Dennis delivered.
Well, I don't know why Liquid, you can't stand in a choke point. He's got a P2000, he has the range to headshot you. There's only such a small space that he needs to aim at there. You can't just jiggle left and right in that tight. You got to go through the door, you got to go in the door, Dan. You got to go, the door's open and go in the door. 4 rounds between these 2 sides now, and that is not good for Liquid. That is not good for Liquid. They're going to be going for the buy here. It's more as a forced buy save for JDM who wants the AWP. We've got Kevlar's being picked up, Smoke's being picked up. This will be a desperate defense, and this is a round that they really need to win. Otherwise, I'm afraid for them.
Well, it's cool, isn't it? Because Fnatic, they get that start to get the confidence running, to boost the morale. Now we might just get a very close matchup. We'll have to see how it goes, if Fnatic can keep this this train running at the moment. As we've got JW waiting for the push, doesn't actually get the frag though. So that's kind of unfortunate, because he was waiting for that, he was expecting it. And it's going to be Flusher who's able to open things up towards B Plateau. 2 players dead, 3 remaining is what that means. And that means Fnatic should have an easy way to play the numbers into the B bomb site, and that's what they're going to do. And it looks like a pretty easy cleanup. A little bit awkward to begin with over on the drop zone, but Fnatic claiming around flawlessly, as they should.
Just a quick note back to the pistol. I liked the CT position with the CZ outside the window. That's really smart. Somebody comes jumping in, you can just spray them down. So more of that, please, CT sides. But Liquid have failed on the first test there, going into Hodor mode. And now we have Simple picking up a cheeky tase, only $200 in fact. So we'll see where he chooses to take that. One day, when are we going to see 5 tasers on Eco, Dan? That's the question. 5 tasers has to happen at some point. Why not? $200, let's go. Maybe Simple can get something done here, but Fnatic look good to close the gap between these 2 teams to 2 rounds. And maybe the fact that only JDM didn't go for the full buy tells you how at least Liquid wants to start on their CT side with the 1 AWP, but maybe we will see 2 later on.
So it is a slow start as Fnatic start to just run that anti-eco. They slowly start to take some map control here. I actually like how quickly JW's managed to find his way into drop. This does alleviate a lot of pressure from Fnatic, because some teams take it a bit too slow and it can be hard to get that first forward position, but JW's done that already for Fnatic. And you can see actually that Fnatic have decided to rotate towards A actually, and that's where the bulk of Liquid actually will be defending from, but they're starting to rotate towards B, so JW's really sold the play into B, but that's not where the bomb is going. And Flusher is of course going to be able to easily make the first frag. So beautiful round actually here from Fnatic, I must say.
Simple has a nice spot for a tase, especially with the angle that JW is holding if he takes down Hiko, but maybe Simple will get some action, maybe he won't. Other than that, there's not much really going on for Liquid here, so hopefully Hiko will die at some point, and then we'll see Simple come out with a tase. He goes for it, but he's going to get taken down. He misses the shot. Olofmeister strafes just at the right time.
Don't tase me, bro.
Don't tase me, bro. So now the buy comes out for Liquid. They failed the pistol. They served themselves up on a plate for Dennis. He got the ace, and now Fnatic are a mere 2 rounds behind Team Liquid.
So this is what we wanted to see, and the AWP will be onto JDM64, and he is one of the guys that is so proficient at holding these really fast pushes into the B bomb side. I mean, I've seen so many highlight reels of him being able to do that. Of course, he's very versatile. We're actually going to see him with a quick timing going towards the A side of the map, throwing the smoke, and if he was to get an engagement there, you can see he times the smoke, so he gets this very small window of like 200 milliseconds to take the shot, then he's covered and can escape quickly no matter what happens.
That's the angle I talked about earlier, where you can look over the smoke towards the boulder area, which is a common position for teams to take because they have reasonable cover on the boulder itself. But you can be susceptible to fast plays with that pop flash into the smoke as well. You can have tees charge through it, then your AWP is almost always getting taken out. So JDM has to be, he's forced to back off. He's holding a very passive angle at the moment because he's got nobody to support him from danger. Meanwhile, we have harassment coming in from Fnatic. JW rocking the MP7 will quickly upgrade as Crims gets launched into space. Hiko spotted there, but JW has to back away now. And you can see them moving over towards long. Olaf Meister is about to walk into the crosshairs of JDM, but you can see nobody supporting him in danger, so he doesn't know where to look. Misses the shot, unlikely from him. Down to 4 versus 4. Simple's going to be crucial now.
Yeah, and he already has players on his left in front, and quickly coming to the right as well. He's going to push in. He finds the perfect timing! Simple gets 2 frags, and that's enough work that has now been done by him. But Dennis, he is going to open up the bomb site regardless of Simple's excellent play. It's JW has a great engagement. Elise realizes that he's going to back away. There are still chances for him here. The bomb has yet to go down. There's still 30 seconds though, so he certainly is going to be very convinced, I think, that this will be the A bomb site, but he can take a moment to have a breather. Both JW and Dennis are below 50% health as well.
JW heard Elige reload. He knows where he is coming from, which is why you see Dennis posting up now, covering JW's back with a bit of an off angle, but Dennis will have to peek at some point because he's not totally covering JW, and there it is. Elige has been spotted as well as heard now, and they will reposition accordingly, but they have no trade situation. JW gets taken down, and now Elige can go for it. We've got Clutch Master versus Clutch Master here, but Elige doesn't have a kit. He's got to move quickly, but he's so far away from the site. He finds an angle onto Dennis, and he takes the round for Team Liquid. A desperate, crucial round. Has he got time for the defuse though? He might not, Dan.
It's going to be close. I think he's got this. I think he's got this. Elige, he's going to nail it, James. That is an amazing clutch to make if you're Elige on the team as well, because they don't look to Elige to get these clutches.
Told you, man. Elige is good, and Dennis is also a good guy to watch if you are on GoTV. Those are 2 very good players to watch for some crazy stuff here on Cobblestone. Dennis with 21 frags, far high and ahead of his team at the moment. Always shows up on Cobblestone, does Dennis, and he'll need to now because Fnatic are 3 rounds behind. They have a better buy though. They've got more money in the bank, and they can still continue the pressure somewhat if they were to lose this one. They've got enough money to do that, I think. Hiko down to the max 7 now. Liquid have slightly less nades than they had in the previous rounds, and again they won that one by the skin of their teeth. Elige playing close now to the drop. That is a place you can go for the max 7 as well. JDM covering the high ground, missing another shot. JDM needs to hit his shots here. He can't afford to do this. He's going to get taken down. Elige needs to back off before he gets sprayed down. He'll get sprayed down. 2k for Olaf Meister.
So it's down to the retake now, and Liquid, they're scurrying as quickly as they can back onto that inside. JW jumping on top of Hiko, but he will get eliminated by the max 7. But their health is diminishing rapidly for these Liquid players. They are so incredibly weak, but still picking up the frag. Simple with another one. Nitro is on 1 point of health right now, as we have Dennis in a great position with Crims as well. They compete together. They have a lot of team play solutions to these oncoming players from Liquid as they try to work their way onto that defuse. And Crims waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and there it is. Nitro will serve himself up, and Simple will be an afterthought for Dennis, who's having the Cobblestone of the month, I would say life, but actually Dennis is a really good player, and he often performs like this, James.
You have to wonder, I mean, JDM's 14 for 12, but you have to wonder if he's a bit nervous or if he's just a bit fearful of how strong Fnatic are, because he seems to be moving just before taking his shot. He's missing shots that he never misses. He never misses these shots. Yeah, it's the scale of this event making him nervous.
I don't know, he's usually a player that, as I said before, like he performs when the spotlight's on him, when all the pressure's there. He's usually a guy that delivers. That's why he should be so good for Liquid. But what is awesome is that he has players to back him up. It's not something that has to play into his mind too much. But that said, we're going to get a fast play here from Flusher as he tries to work out what is the setup for Liquid right now, because they know that they don't have very much money. All right, then, so Flusher is dead, and rip Flusher. He is sent to the bench, and Fnatic are going to have to continue the round without him. And Nice little risk coming in from Nitro, trying to push actually. That's a good gamble, but it's not going to pay off this time.
What do Fnatic do with that information? Olofmeister seems he's going to continue pushing over towards B, and he can do that because he's only got a Mach 10. Trying to draw some CTs away. He's got the attention of Elige with that scout. It might be hard to find through all of those smokes, and now it seems Fnatic are slowly creeping over towards B, although Olofmeister's not going to overextend too far. Going to wait for his team. He still has a minute on the clock here. And there are 3 CTs to find. 2-man stack over towards the A bomb site. Liquid will be waiting for the time to run out to cause some bedlam there to stop that bomb from going down, but the bomb is far away towards the B bomb site. He's trying to look in 2 places at once. Spot the player, he'll make the call to his team. Can they get there fast enough? No. Instantly taken down.
And that should be the round shut out by Fnatic. Liquid, not much they can really do in this situation, but they do have, well, it's actually, we don't have anything to really work with. They are dead broke at the moment. This is actually really bad for Liquid, and it's looking very good if you are a Fnatic fan, because they should be able to tie the game up from this point. They've done enough at this stage, and that's great to see, because again, the first half looks so incredibly dominant for Liquid. Sometimes teams just can't come back from that, but Fnatic are showing that composure, that experience, and that mental constitution to just never be affected.
The thing is, I feel like Liquid don't necessarily need to have been in this situation if JDM just lands those crucial shots. He's holding an angle. The T-Rev presents himself in that angle, and all he needs to do is click, but he's moving before clicking. He can't have his nerves on this scale, on this stage, against this team. Fnatic moving within 1 round now, surviving with 3 players, excuse me. And again, Liquid flat broke right now. They're going to be ecoing for a while, yes.
The ecos will indeed continue to reign in, and it's an easy situation for Fnatic to play and also to read. I mean, we've got again Flusher with the Mach 10, and this is, you know, just the information finder, the guy that can go first, take the risky engagements, and you're not giving up too much. You know, he can go alone, because what is he dropping? He's dropping a Mach 10. Good luck making that useful against AK-47s. And it's also cool, you know, that they also understand that we don't need an AWP for this round, so Flusher might be the guy that picks that up. If he dies, we'll have to see. Liquid though, they will go towards the B bomb site for a bit of a stack and hope to catch Fnatic off guard, but again, Fnatic can be so good at playing the information discovery that they should be fine. Flusher with a long-range Mach 10 kill. All right then, and a 3rd one to boot, so not looking too difficult here. Flusher is making his money back and then some.
And this is just showing you that Fnatic have a great read on the CT economy. He's got almost $11,000 now, so even if he could start to win rounds in the kind of clutch area of this map, the pressure's going to come time and time again for Fnatic. They're going to be up against AKs round after round, so they need to make this work. Now, they have options available to them, but they don't always have armor if they want to go for more than one AWP. JDM picking up the AWP once again. And it's not like other teams, like if you're Fnatic and JW's not feeling the AWP, he can throw the AWP to someone else. He can have Olofmeister, he can have Dennis AWP, and he can go for a rifle, and he's a strong rifler now. Not so on Liquid. You need JDM, he has to have that AWP. You can't have him rifling in place of a Simple, for example. That's just, it can't happen.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest weak points, I suppose, if you take Fnatic versus Liquid pound for pound on skill. Otherwise, in many instances, you're going to see a fairly close matchup in some regards. Either way, we've got a new approach here from Liquid. See, Elige just going for a little bit of a peek there by himself. He is actually playing with a teammate. JDM is there with the AWP. So Elige is kind of trying to bait it out a little bit and say, okay, I'm the guy that's here. I'm shooting some bullets through the smoke, trying to get the information for his team so that JDM is availed of shots. And he can't miss those shots.
Look at this.
And he will.
Olofmeister threw a flash as the smoke was disappearing, so he could have the angle held first. JDM throws a flash back to retake the angle, but he's unable to do so. They have strong enough positions, they don't get flashed, and they get the pick. JDM goes down. Olofmeister now coming closer, try and harass. There's an important flash coming in for Elige, who's going to be in some trouble. Sees the trajectory, knows the player's coming, but he can't win the duel.
Yeah, again, another very desperate situation here for Liquid, 3 versus 5, but they have the bodies on the bomb site. Fnatic haven't actually committed just yet. They have the bomb still on the ground. It will be collected now, but they could actually just rotate towards A. They could wait a couple seconds as well and try to see if there's going to be a response from Liquid. And Liquid are now asking questions. They're starting to fan out a little bit because they're wondering, have Fnatic gone to the other site? And so that delay has worked out perfectly, because now Fnatic are in a 5 versus 2 instead of a 5 versus 3 to take the bomb site. That's exactly what they're going to do. Just Simple against 4 players. He'll get an initial engagement here, which he will win. The taps come in, but that's going to be that. Flusher will put an end to Simple and the round there for Liquid as they take 12. Fnatic now in the lead, 12-11.
It's unfortunate for Liquid. Fnatic didn't have the map control to rotate there actually. Dennis was the closest man to A and he was basically next to the drop zone, so they may have considered it, but it would have been a risk and they chose the right decision in the end, although 5 versus 3. Always going to be good for the T's. They continue to build money. Flusher heading towards 16k now, and there's nothing but poverty here for Liquid. The scout coming out onto Elige once again. They're going to be on maximum loss bonus in the next round, so they've left themselves enough to go for a full buy for the most part. And now they've lost the lead, so it's going to be a difficult map to claw back, to claw away from Fnatic's Kung Fu grip.
Oh yeah, I mean, Liquid have given them a lot of reasons to respect them, and we're actually seeing that, all that respect come out in rounds like this, where you see a lot of discipline applied from Fnatic on their anti-eco rounds. Look how amazing this is. They have that 3-man setup there for the push through long. Simple's getting naded to high heaven. Of course, he was already spotted by a player coming in on the underpass there in middle as well, so this is great execution from Fnatic.
But Crims has got the bomb. Nitro's in a position where he could cause some serious problems here. That's a nice flash. Nitro going to be blind though. There it is. The CZ comes in. He's got one more place to contend with. But now there's a bit of a crossfire here for the CTs for Fnatic to deal with. They have man advantage. That flash is important, and Dennis is taken down. That's the bomb rescued. JW gets taken down in the meantime, so does Dennis. And that's the problem from Nitro's position, has caused all this bedlam and mayhem. There's still time for a rotation to come in from Fnatic. Important frag onto JDM, but where is Elige? He's got range with the scout, but he needs 2 shots unless he's going to get a headshot here. There are weapons for him to pick up, so as this rotation comes in towards B, he's got nothing to lose because of the loss bonus. He can try and pick up a rifle here, and Flusher, knowing this, maybe trying to protect these rifles and wait for this rotation to come in.
Yeah, this is very beautifully played actually from Fnatic. They, of course, make the smartest decision, and Flusher's trying to get that kill actually. Elige is proving to be very, very hard to kill, but initially at least, Flusher will clean him up in the end, so another round from Fnatic, and they are a mere 3 away, taking away the dominance of Liquid and putting it straight back to them and doing it better than they did it. And right now we're going to get what can only be a tactical timeout here for the Team Liquid side.
Yep. One of the better times to do it, when they've got their full buy, they've got full utility, they can do whatever they like. And again, this is time for them to discuss. What have we done well? Have Fnatic figured us out now? How are they getting the first opening pick, and what are we doing in response? How are they exploiting man advantages? Can we go for some aggression? And now look at we can see a change. You can't see it just yet, but we'll mention it in due course. Liquid have made a change to their approach. They've kind of played the Joker card, if you will. Fnatic with a 2-round lead again, just loads of money. Flusher's almost on $15,000 here, and he's got his full buy in already. And in fact, he was on 16 at the beginning of this round. And
this is a great spot for Peacemaker to really chime in, and everything that he's been learning from the heat of the moment can compile that data and really figure out, okay, is JDM having some spots right now where he's not having the best game? Does JDM feel confident to play some of these angles? They are going to pick up the double up in this situation, so that's going to be an interesting change. You know, Simple is incredibly proficient with that AWP. He hasn't brought it out too much just yet on the Team Liquid side, but we will see it now. So I'm very curious how that's it's going to play. Is he going to take JDM's position? Will JDM have a more conservative style, or is it, because to me, as you mentioned previously, this scoreline will probably look a lot different if JDM would just hit some of those first shots, which normally you would expect him to hit.
Yeah, Liquid haven't really got many frags over towards A at the beginning of rounds. If you go back to how Simple used to play as the secondary AWPer on flip side, he would be over towards A long, overextending, getting picked a lot of the time. We've seen how AWPers can have success over towards A long, being around a danger area or a little bit forward from there, holding angles, being able to retreat and take up another angle before the T can get on top of you, having support from a rifler. That's possible for Liquid. They have 15 seconds to decide as they get ready for these double ops. Can go for a boost as well in the drop for a double op. And again, we mentioned how JDM can go over towards the mid area and look over the smoke. That has its own risks. We mentioned them before. Perhaps they rotate him there and put Simple over towards B. We are about to find out.
So we have the sawn off there for JW, so we'll start to see the typical JW shenanigans as he will rush the drop zone. It's pretty much the only super effective place to use that weapon, and Liquid already feeling the fast pace here as these nades start to come in, and they're already throwing out so many grenades as a response here, and this is exactly what Fnatic want. They can just wait. That said, Olofmeister goes down to very low health, and there it is. Simple picks up that frag towards A, and Hiko is able to get a frag onto JW. They felt like they had to respond, but JW pushed the smoke straight into into a very weak Hiko, and Liquid are going to abuse that situation all day. Now it's just pure desperation, as Fnatic have to take huge risks to get back into the round.
Down goes Flusher, leaving Crims alone. Now it's about damage. Let's not forget, Flusher started this round with 16k. It's not about how many Fnatic players go down, it's about how many Liquid players go down. Liquid took a gamble, they put 4 on the B bomb site. They knew there wasn't much action towards A. It's paid off so far. We've got Hiko holding an angle here. Dropping down, looking the wrong way, but again, Hiko only 9 HP, is going to get taken down. And now there are more problems. Simple speaking, not getting the shot, and Crims is going to be very dangerous. You have to be super nervous if you are Liquid now. It's not about the bomb, and Liquid will soon realize with Nitro's push that they've got control of the bomb. So at least they know there's no plant. They don't have to defend the sites anymore. They just need to avoid being taken down by Crims. They literally cannot afford to lose any more weapons here.
This is almost one of those situations where you don't even want to face Crims, even at like a range that's very favorable for the AWP. You just cannot risk losing a weapon, as you said. They have no bank at all. Liquid are already going to struggle to rebuy the weapons that have been lost, and Crims picks up another kill, and that might be an unrecoverable AWP that now has been dropped. Crims is just hunting them. The apex predator on the cobblestone right now is Crims as he moves forward, but finally he will be discovered going for the bomb. And that was a scary run though, 2 extra frags that perhaps he shouldn't have been able to make, but he will.
Nice. Nitro manages to rescue the AWP. Very important stuff. But look at the money on Liquid. It's about 3,500. They are going to have a terrible buy, and we mentioned the money on Fnatic. They're coming in with max buy, big guns. Big guns indeed. Olaf Meister on the AWP, and that's what we talked about. They can throw the AWP wherever they like on Fnatic, whenever they feel like. Liquid can't really do the same other than put a second AWP on Simple, which continues here in this round. Again, they took a risk. They put Simple alone over towards the A site. Do Fnatic realise this? They've got Flusher, Olaf Meister, and then it's headed towards A at the moment, and again, Simple's there on his own. And Dennis in the previous round walked into mid-area and poked his head up towards A and got picked off, but Simple at the time was looking towards A long and the mid-area. He's having to look at 2 places at the same time, which is a problem for the CTs. That's a good start though.
Yeah, JW is trying to harass, get himself in that drop zone, and a lot of the play really was hinged on that, because JW's lack of presence now, because he's dead, that means that there's so much time for Liquid to work out that it's not going to be a B play. And you can see the slow approach from Fnatic here, so that fast frag from Hiko may have created a situation now where Liquid are like, okay, we can rotate people back to A, and that's exactly what they're doing, because there's no pressure on drop anymore. And so Fnatic, they may run into a very good defense. They're going to have to get it done on just hitting those shots, really being very coordinated on the way that they push in with the grenades and the entry frags as well. Simple's in a prime position though.
On the site, he needs Hiko to come in through those choke points. The other teammates are really far away for the CTs. We need to see frags here. Simple starts things off. Hiko gets taken down. Nitro goes in an unknown position. 2-man spray down coming in. It's not going to work out though. Crims gets the frag onto Nitro and he can plant the bomb now. But there's a man disadvantage to make that 2. He's going to fall. Flusher alone. Not going to do it either. Simple holds pistol. AWP. 2 orbs survive here. The score is tied up. The money is starting to go down for Fnatic, but the pressure will continue.
That is it, the godlike Simple AWPing. That is what you want to see. That's what is going to bring Liquid back into this one now, as Fnatic have to reach deep into that reserve that they've built up on all those rounds that they accrued and just previous to this. And that's going to be a real big confidence booster as well. And if Simple can continue that form, there might be a lot of problems here for Fnatic. I'm really excited to see how this goes. And Fnatic might actually just go for a very fast round right now and switch up the pace entirely as they start to barrel in towards that plateau area. But again, those counter grenades from Liquid should slow things down a little bit.
Speaking of problems, if Liquid lose this round, they are in a lot of trouble. Fnatic have 1 more buy in them with one of the players on around 7k. But it's going to be tough decisions for both teams, regardless of who wins or loses. Nitro with a smoke kill there, that's a great spot. Elite in a sneaky position, and now JDM is delivering. He needs to find 1 more. 1 might be enough. If Elite can get 2 frags in, he can. A 2-man straight up, make that 3. Elite, the clutch man on the B side for Liquid.
Are they actually making this happen right now? Liquid getting closer and closer to breaking the economy of Fnatic, but Fnatic just have buys and buys and more buys, and Liquid are finding a way right now. The orbs are coming out in these very early stages to make the difference, but that was a beautiful hold from Alicia. If you can just keep up that composure there towards the broken wall. I mean, Fnatic right now, we're seeing Simple early in the round towards A. they don't have a very simple option. I mean, previously we would see them trying to take over a drop zone, and that was a very effective play. That might be something that they have to go back towards, going for a more map control oriented approach off of a default, as opposed to just going for these straight up rushes or just relying on one player to get himself in that lurk position, as we saw failed with JW previously. So Liquid, they're stepping up here. I thought they were starting to fall flat in this first map, but they found something.
But Fnatic are hot on their heels. This is really difficult. Even these rounds Liquid are winning are really difficult. You saw one round where Liquid put 4 people on the B bomb site. They had Simple hold 2 places on A by himself. He managed to look at the right place, the right time to take down Dennis. But the very next round, Fnatic know exactly what they were up to. They put 4 players over towards the A site to try and counter what the CTs were up to. So Liquid have to keep being unpredictable here and get the frags. Otherwise, Fnatic can still take this.
Yeah, you can never count them out, can you? You should absolutely never, ever, ever count out Fnatic. So, I mean, here it is. We have that timeout starting to run down, and Fnatic, they're able to make a lot of decisions here, and they are very important against what Liquid are bringing to the table.
Look at that crowd.
It is glorious, James.
14,000 people in a sold-out arena here in Cologne, Germany, to see Fnatic go up against Liquid. Who's going to make it to the final? This is only map number 1, and it will continue in 12 seconds. 5 AKs here for the Fnatic side. They've got a reasonable amount of grenades as well, and now Liquid's buys are starting to improve. They're starting to build themselves a bit of a buffer here. We have a few players with 3 to 4 to 5k for Liquid, so if they lose this round, then there's still opportunity for them to mount a reasonable defense. They have a lead, a very thin 1-round lead at the moment versus Fnatic.
So we're starting to get back into this one now, as the freeze time is about to be completely diminished, and things once again will resume, and there will be no more pauses here until we have a winner on Cobblestone. Liquid with the double orb, Simple reaching in and pulling out something that Liquid may not have realized was even there to bring them back in this one, and Fnatic trying a new approach after that timeout. But what have they come up with? We do have the bomb moving towards A long, as we have more of a presence map control based play towards B.
Now we have a difference in the setup from Liquid. Nitro's been boosted on the top of the wall towards the hill over towards A. Problem is, he's got 3 Ts coming his way, and they are walking the entire way. Nitro's going to have no idea. Simple coming around towards the door area though. Round the side, going to spot loads of players. That's going to raise the alarm to Nitro, but what can he do here? Still holding the high ground. Second player on the side. Man sprayed out for Nitro. No! Simple's going to steal the kill, but all the frags is going the way of Liquid here. Solid hold. They don't lose a single player, Dan.
It's happening right now. Fnatic's economy completely crushed. They're able to scrap together an AWP, a Tech 9 armor, some grenades, but it is desperation here, as Fnatic don't have enough to really post a proper buy against Liquid, and Liquid are just storming through these attacks at the moment. Simple has been key in some of these, but Elige and Nitro, the men that have been quieter in months previous, now once again showing why people believe them to be such upcoming star level players. And we have Olofmeister, it's in his hands right now, looking for the entry, but he's going to get naded to pieces, down to 24 health, and once again they're going to test Simple. Oh, what is that flick from Simple? That is fantastic, and all of a sudden Liquid know exactly what's going on as they start to go for the rotation. Simple still alive on 5 HP. What else can he do?
The CTs need to get through these choke points. Speaking of which, JW is trying to get sneaky here. That nade could cause problems. Flush is going to lose 1 HP from that. This is Bedlam. Everybody's on the A site now, apart from JDM looking for the flank here. Look at JW's position. Is this going to pay off for the team? Elige and Nitro around the site at the moment. JW looking for the flankers. Fnatic trying to figure out where these CTs are before they commit. There's still a minute on the clock here. They don't need to plant the bomb just yet. Everybody waiting now. JW still jockeying for position. Flusher, Olofmeister, Crims, all heavily tagged, as is Simple with the big green gun. Olofmeister looking behind him, making sure there's no CTs coming in for the flank, and JW still causing problems. He's going to win an important duel, but he's heavily tagged as well. Everyone's tagged for the T's now. Can they get the bomb down? The player on Titan, Nitro, he's putting in work. Flusher and Olofmeister remaining. Down goes JDM. Everyone's tagged. It's just Olofmeister left versus 2. He's got to plant the bomb, but he's got 30 seconds to do it. 2 orcs and 1 AK. He's not going to see the angle here. Nitro's going to take it for Liquid. 16 to 13. Is this happening, Dan? Is Hika going to the final? This is just so unbelievable right now. I didn't know that Liquid could do all of this.
taking it to Fnatic, showing that there is definitely a reason to respect Liquid going forwards, but there is still much more work to be done here by Liquid as they're about to approach one of the best maps for Fnatic Cash, and that's been one of their most dominant maps of late throughout the entire tournament. It's something that Fnatic can truly rely on and find confidence in, but it is time to go to the desk to get the thoughts of the analysts after that amazing first map on Cobblestone.